There are moments in life when everything seems to stop. Plans stall, doors close, and it feels like the universe has forgotten you. But the truth is, silence is never abandonment. It is preparation. It is in this space between what ends and what begins that the universe works most for you. But at this stage, the noise of the world needs to cease so that you can hear the divine language. The first sign that the reward is near is precisely this: the profound silence before manifestation. The apparent absence of movement is, in fact, the sound of the invisible organizing itself. When the universe silences you, it's aligning you. It removes distractions, cuts away excess, and closes off wrong paths. It's uncomfortable, but necessary. Purpose demands space, and space is born from emptiness. That's why, when it seems like nothing is happening, the miracle is being shaped. The pause isn't punishment, it's synchronicity. It's spiritual time recalibrating your destiny. And while you feel alone, the universe is sketching the details of what comes next. I lived through that silence. I went through days when I prayed, and it seemed like heaven wasn't answering. The words came back empty, and my heart was heavy. Until one day, exhausted, I decided to just be quiet. I didn't ask for anything. I just breathed. And it was in that moment of surrender that I felt a peace that didn't come from within. It was as if the universe was saying, "Now you're ready to listen." The silence was not an absence of response. It was the response. It was the beginning of vibrational realignment. This is the first stage of reward, the emptiness before the turning point. When everything seems meaningless, when answers are hidden, and time slows down, something grand is approaching. It's the interval between preparation and the miracle. And the universe uses this interval to purify you from haste, fear, and control. Because whoever still tries to control is not ready to receive. Silence comes to heal the anxiety of the outcome. The secret is not to run from this silence, but to inhabit it, to listen to what it teaches. Because it is there that your energy field rebalances. It is there that the frequencies of doubt dissolve and the frequencies of faith begin to manifest. It is in silence that the universe finds space to act. And whoever learns to rest in it discovers that time is not an enemy, it is an ally. The pause is merely the invisible pulse of creation. If you are going through this moment now, do not fear. The universe has not forgotten you. It has simply moved you away from the noise so that you can speak more clearly. The purest rewards do not come amidst confusion. They reveal themselves in serenity. And the silence that surrounds you today is the same silence that precedes the sound of victory tomorrow. Wait, trust, listen. Something is coming, and it will be greater than you imagine. Before the new can begin, the old must crumble. This is the second sign that the universe is about to reward you. Old structures are beginning to fall apart. Things that once seemed secure crumble, people drift apart, plans disintegrate. It's painful, but it's sacred. The universe never builds something new on the ground of what no longer serves its purpose. He first cleans, removes, deconstructs, and only then plants the promise. Therefore, when everything starts to go wrong, don't panic. It's destiny being rewritten, not destroyed. I lived through that dismantling, and I confess that at first, I thought it was the end. I lost people, opportunities, and even confidence in myself. But time revealed what I couldn't see. The universe wasn't punishing me. It was setting me free. Each loss was a redirection. Every closed door is a protection. And what seemed unjust later proved to be merciful. The dismantling didn't come to diminish me. It came to make room within me for the new to fit in. When the universe begins to remove what is misaligned, it's because something bigger is on its way. He removes what doesn't support your next version. And even if the ego resists, the spirit understands. It is necessary to break in order to be reborn. No transformation is born in comfort. The caterpillar needs to lose its footing in order to become a butterfly. It's the same with you. The current chaos is just the womb where your new phase is being gestated. And the more you let go, the faster the new flourishes. The old world endures. He tries to convince you that you're losing, when in reality you're evolving. And that's where faith comes in, the courage to trust amidst the dismantling. Because those who despair delay the cycle, but those who trust hasten the rebirth. The universe tests your detachment before bestowing abundance upon you. He wants to know if you are able to embrace the new without needing to hold on to what has already ended. Remember when everything seemed right, and suddenly, something pushed you down a different path? That nudge is life's invisible touch saying, this is no longer your place. And the sooner you understand, the less it hurts. Losses, in fact, are bridges. Every ending that breaks your heart today is the same one that prepares you for the next phase. The destruction that hurts is birth disguised as tragedy. Nothing is lost. Everything is transformed in due time. Therefore, do not curse the dismantling. Bless it. He is proof that the universe still cares, still moves you, still wants you awake. Everything that is falling now is not punishment. It is the harvest. You're simply shedding old versions of yourself. What comes next is expansion. And when the dust settles, you'll realize you haven't lost anything. You've simply been adjusted to what is rightfully yours by divine right. There is a stage on the spiritual path that separates those who merely wish from those who truly believe. The time of waiting. This is the third sign that the universe is about to reward you. The silence lingers, and nothing seems to change. You look around and everything remains the same, but something inside you knows that it's different. It's like a seed that sleeps in the dark, invisible to the world, but alive inside. Delay is not denial, it's refinement. The universe holds back the clock to strengthen you before giving you what you asked for. Delay is the filter that separates haste from purpose. At first, the waiting hurts. The heart wonders, will anything really change? The mind wants to act, to push, to accelerate. But some blessings only bloom at the right time. Money that comes too early gets lost. Opportunity that arrives before preparation vanishes. Therefore, the universe slows your pace, not to punish you, but to protect you from a premature miracle. Divine timing is like the sunrise. However long the night may be, it always fulfills its hour. I remember a time when everything seemed to stand still. No projects were moving forward. No doors were opening. I prayed and saw no answer. Until one day I realized something simple. It wasn't the universe that was taking too long. It was that I wasn't ready yet. The delay reflected my impatience. And when I started giving thanks even without seeing, time sped up. The waiting period turned into a learning experience. Silence turned into certainty. Delay is the field where faith is cultivated. Each day without an answer is an invitation to believe more deeply. It's easy to trust when everything goes right. But it is in the delay that the universe tests your vibration. If you can remain at peace even without control, it's because you've finally understood the flow. Faith does not anticipate the outcome. It rests on the promise. And the universe, perceiving your serenity, says, now he's ready. Many give up at this stage. They trade trust for despair and faith for complaining. But the universe doesn't respond to anxiety. It responds to consistency. Those who continue to radiate gratitude even in times of delay hasten the miracle. Because the universe reads your energy, not the calendar. He delivers the moment your heart learns to trust. And just when you stop counting the days, the day arrives. Time ceases to be waiting and becomes gestation. Today, when something is delayed, I take a breath and smile. Because I've learned that every apparent delay is simply the universe calibrating the exact moment of impact. No blessing is lost along the way. It only awaits your maturity to manifest itself. Faith is not a persistent request. It is a silent yes. And the silent yes is the password that the universe recognizes as permission to act. Therefore, if something seems stagnant right now, know this: what's taking a while is coming stronger now. There comes a point when the universe starts giving you little signs, almost as if it's winking at you. These signs are the fourth indication that the reward is near. The coincidences become too frequent to be mere chance. You think of someone, and that person appears. You desire something, and the path to it begins to unfold on its own. It's as if an invisible force is guiding you, adjusting the path ahead with each step. And the more you trust, the more these coincidences increase, until you realize that the universe was never random, only synchronized with your vibration. These coincidences are the secret language of life. It is through them that the universe speaks to those who have learned to listen. While the rational world calls it luck, the awakened heart calls it a sign. And anyone who has experienced this knows it's impossible not to be moved. Suddenly, everything seems to conspire in his favor. A book falling off the shelf, a phrase catching up with you, a song saying exactly what you needed to hear. Nothing is too small to be a message. Every detail is a reminder that the invisible is watching. I experienced this when I had the least doubt. I was lost, but the universe began to repeat patterns before me. Identical numbers on the clock, words that were repeated in different places, different people saying the same phrases. At first, I thought it was a coincidence. Later, I understood it was synchronicity. These repetitions are the universe's way of getting your attention, showing that the flow is realigning. And when I realized that, I stopped asking why and started saying thank you. Faith matures when we learn to recognize the divine disguised as routine. And it is in this recognition that energy expands. The universe is a loving intelligence, and when you change your frequency, it responds to you with precision. But he doesn't shout, he whispers. And that's why so many people don't realize it. They are too noisy, too busy, too anxious to notice the signs flashing along the way. But those who remain silent and observe understand. The universe is constantly conversing with you, guiding your invisible steps. Synchronicity is the echo of your vibration. It's life giving you back exactly what you feel. When coincidences start to happen, celebrate. Don't doubt, don't rationalize. Just accept it. Because every synchronization is a coded message that says, you're on the right track. The universe confirms when you approach the frequency of reward. It's like an orchestra playing in the background. The more harmony, the clearer the music becomes. And if you listen with your heart, you will realize the miracle has already begun, and it is only testing you to see if you recognize it. These synchronicities become portals. They bridge the gap between what is dream and what is real. The universe uses people, music, smells, memories, and even setbacks to move you to where you need to be. Nothing is random when you wake up. And at that point, there is no more chance. There is purpose. Every coincidence is a line written by an invisible hand, shaping your story with love and divine precision. Therefore, when something unlikely happens, don't say, "How lucky," say, "Thank you." Gratitude acknowledges, and recognition amplifies. The universe is like a mirror. The more you notice its signs, the more signs it shows you. These coincidences are merely the prelude to reward. The first beats of a cosmic heart saying, "Get ready, I'm about to act in your favor." There's a moment when your heart simply slows down. Prayers cease to be pleas and become breath. Fear loses its power, control dissolves, and what was once despair turns into surrender. This is the fifth sign that the universe is about to reward you, the calm before the miracle. It's a serenity that arrives for no apparent reason, like a breeze after the storm. You haven't yet received what you asked for, but you feel that something invisible is on its way. There's no more rush, no more despair, just the gentle certainty that the universe has heard and is now silently arranging everything. This peace is not the absence of problems. It's the presence of faith. It's the moment when the soul understands that it is already safe, even without visible proof. For a long time, I confused calmness with complacency. I thought that stopping the fight meant giving up. But the universe taught me that calmness is the highest form of confidence. When you are at peace, it's because you understand that you don't need to push the flow. You just need to float with it. Life always moves in the right direction when you stop resisting. Fear creates turbulence, but faith creates a current. And it was when I learned to trust that I realized tranquility is not the end of the struggle. It's the beginning of manifestation. because the universe only delivers blessings in tranquil fields. It doesn't plant seeds in troubled soil, but in hearts that have learned to rest. This calm that precedes the miracle is mysterious. It arrives suddenly, as if the air itself changed. You wake up and realize you no longer feel the anguish that accompanied you. The future is still uncertain, but your chest feels light. It's as if something inside is saying, it's already resolved. And the most curious thing is that, at that point, nothing has changed on the outside, but everything has changed on the inside. You begin to act with lightness, to speak with gratitude, to look at the world with serenity, and without realizing it, the energy field adjusts. The universe reorganizes itself, and circumstances begin to turn in your favor. It is the moment when the invisible prepares to become tangible. This serenity is a rare frequency. It's the vibration of certainty. When you vibrate in peace, the universe understands that it can deliver, because peace is the sign that you will no longer doubt, no longer sabotage, no longer chase after things in fear. It's the sign that you are mature enough to sustain what you asked for. Peace is the password to abundance. The universe observes your heart, and when it perceives that it is firm, without wavering, it releases what was being held back. Calmness is the code that unlocks the flow of manifestation. It's as if God Himself were saying, now He's ready to receive without getting lost. When that peace came to me, I cried. Not from sadness, but from relief. It was as if, after years of fighting against the tide, I had finally stopped swimming and let the river carry me. And it was precisely at that point that things began to happen. The answers came, the opportunities appeared, the connections formed, all naturally. I didn't need to force it. I didn't need to rush, because the universe only needed one sign: my rest. When the heart rests, life moves. When fear is silent, the miracle speaks. And in that instant, I realized that calmness was the sound of the miracle arriving. This tranquility changes the way you live. There is no longer urgency, but presence. You understand that time is not the enemy, and that everything has a divine cycle. Yesterday's anxiety gives way to today's wisdom. You begin to see meaning even in waiting, in pauses, in non-answers. Because everything is part of the divine choreography of manifestation. Calm is the music the universe plays when it is about to act. And whoever learns to listen to this sacred melody never doubts again, only gives thanks. Therefore, if you feel this strange peace, this serenity that doesn't make sense, know this: it's the universe telling you that your time has come. The heart calms because destiny has already moved. The soul finds peace because the unseen has already taken command. It's the last step before the turning point, the breath before the impact. The storm has passed, the sun is about to rise. And when it rises, you will understand that the miracle didn't arrive suddenly. It has always been coming, from the moment you decided to trust. Every time the universe is about to reward you, it performs a curious movement. It tests your vibration. It's as if it were silently saying, have you truly learned what you claim to believe? This is the sixth sign, the test of trust. Suddenly, small things start to go wrong. Unexpected events arise. People doubt you. The situation seems to regress. But, in reality, the universe isn't punishing you. It's training you to handle what's coming. It's the final check before delivery. Because receiving is easy, maintaining requires maturity. And it's at this point that many give up, without realizing they were one step away from a turning point. When the universe tests you, it's not to weaken you, it's to solidify what has been built. It makes the ground tremble slightly so that you learn to remain firm. Everything that is true needs to be proven before it flourishes. Faith, love, worthiness, patience. All these elements are honed through friction. And it is this friction that molds your new vibrational identity. When you pass the test without losing your peace, the reward not only arrives, but remains. The universe doesn't just want to give you something. It wants to prepare you so you don't lose it when you have it. I experienced this test painfully. After months of calm, chaos returned. unexpectedly. An opportunity that seemed certain was postponed. People distanced themselves, and insecurity knocked at the door. For a moment, I felt fear, as if the universe had abandoned me again. But deep down, I knew it was a rehearsal, not a punishment. So instead of despairing, I breathed and silently said, "I trust," even without understanding. And that simple phrase was the turning point. It was as if the universe was saying, "Now he understands." That week, something extraordinary happened. A new opportunity arose, even better than the previous one. This is how the universe works. It takes something small from you to see if you believe something bigger will come. It closes a visible door to open a secret passage. It takes control from your hands so you learn to walk by faith. Trust is life's most elegant test. It doesn't shout. It just observes how you react in silence. Those who complain fail the cycle. Those who trust are promoted. And this promotion is invisible, but powerful. It's what differentiates those who live by trial and error from those who live in flow. When you pass the test of trust, the universe elevates you from student to co-creator. Trials are a reflection of your vibration. When something contradicts you, it's life asking you, "Do you still believe?" And your answer isn't in words, but in emotions. The universe doesn't listen to what you say. It feels what you vibrate. Therefore, it's no use professing faith while vibrating fear. Coherence is the seal of manifestation. And when the universe perceives that your emotions have aligned with your words, it releases what was being held back. The reward comes not to those who ask for more, but to those who vibrate correctly. Faith and trust are not speeches. They are energetic states. I learned that the universe doesn't want perfection. It wants consistency. It doesn't demand that you never doubt, but that you don't give up even when you doubt. True confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to persevere despite it. It's continuing to plant even when the sky threatens rain. It's giving thanks even when the answer is delayed. It's keeping your heart open, even when everything seems closed. This consistency vibrates higher than any ritual, word, or promise. It's the silent sound of the soul saying, "I know it will work out, even without signs." And that's exactly where the universe acts. The instant you stop testing the time and begin to live by faith. The moment your serenity becomes stronger than doubt. The reward draws near when your confidence becomes unwavering. And when it arrives, you understand that the test was never about the universe. It was about you. It only wanted to prove to you that your faith was real, that your heart was ready, and that your vibration no longer depended on circumstances. And when that trust matures, nothing else can be lost, because what comes after the test is what's here to stay. There is a silent, almost imperceptible point where the universe begins to move in your favor, even if the scenario still seems the same. It is when the invisible begins to reorganize the visible, and life, little by little, begins to respond to your vibration. This is the seventh sign. Reality is starting to give way. Small details change. Situations that have been stuck for months begin to unblock on their own. People who didn't see you before now notice you. The flow starts to return, and you feel it not with your eyes, but with your heart. It's as if the air around you becomes lighter, as if something is about to happen at any moment. And it is. It all starts subtly. An unexpected phone call. A message that opens up an opportunity. A problem that resolves itself without your intervention. And when that happens, you understand. Reality is not fixed. It is malleable. The universe responds to the vibrational field you emit. When your energy changes, the world changes too. Physics calls it synchronicity. Spirituality calls it a miracle. And the heart calls it an answer. And at that point, time ceases to be the enemy. Things don't get delayed or advanced. They just happen when your vibration is mature enough to sustain the new. When I began to experience this stage, I realized how limited the human mind is. We spend our lives trying to solve with effort what can only be unlocked through surrender. I fought, planned, controlled, and everything seemed stuck. But when I started to trust, when I stopped trying to understand and just felt, the pieces began to fall into place. The right people appeared. The right doors opened. Solutions arrived through paths I never would have imagined. And that's when I understood. Reality is not a wall. It's a mirror. It doesn't resist. It only reflects what you consistently vibrate. The universe never acts by chance. It creates adjustments that seem like coincidence, but are surgically calculated to align your path with your purpose. When something changes, it's not because everything suddenly improved. It's because you are finally emitting a frequency compatible with what you asked for. Abundance doesn't resist those who vibrate peace. Prosperity doesn't deny those who live in gratitude. And when these two forces meet, the miracle ceases to be a promise and becomes routine. It's the point where the energy of the invisible begins to condense into matter. It's the sound of the universe saying, "Now." But the transition isn't always smooth. Sometimes the universe makes adjustments too quickly, and this causes confusion. Things happen in sequence. Sudden changes, abrupt decisions, new people entering, others leaving. And the ego, frightened, tries to understand what is happening. But the spirit smiles, because it knows. What seems like chaos is merely the old structure giving way to the new world that is being born around you. Reality, at this point, bends to your consciousness. And the more serene you are, the easier it is to cross the bridge between the invisible and the visible. This is the moment when you begin to see the universe in action. Nothing is a coincidence anymore. Every glance, every encounter, every word takes on symbolic weight. You feel the universe breathing with you, as if it were saying every second, "I heard you." And when that realization awakens, the fear disappears. You realize you were never alone, just distracted. The universe has always guided you, always protected you, always waited for you. And when your vibration aligns, it delivers to you what has always been yours, with gentleness, beauty, and perfection. Therefore, when you notice things around you starting to move, even slowly, don't doubt. Celebrate. Give thanks. Observe. Because that's the point where the miracle has already begun to materialize. There's no turning back after that. The energy has been released, the field has been activated, and the universe is responding. What was once impossible has begun to become inevitable. And at this moment, all you need to do is remain grateful. Reality cannot resist a heart that vibrates with certainty. And the universe, silent and wise, smiles, because the cycle is about to be fulfilled. There comes a day when the universe decides to reveal what it has been silently preparing. You don't expect it, you don't imagine it, you don't plan it. It simply happens. A small detail, a simple answer, a gesture of kindness, or a reunion that seems like a coincidence. But deep down, you feel it. This is no coincidence. This is the 8th sign, the first tangible reflection of the reward. It is the moment when the universe, after months of invisibility, begins to move the scene before your eyes. And suddenly, what seemed distant begins to draw closer. It's as if the veil between the spiritual and the material slowly tears, letting the light through. The first time I experienced this, I confess I doubted it. I thought it was luck or coincidence. But as the days went by, the coincidences became too precise, almost mathematical. Everything I had silently dreamed of began to take shape before me. People I hadn't seen in years returned with opportunities. Forgotten projects were reborn. Doors that had been locked opened lightly. And it was at that point that I understood. The universe doesn't work with luck. It works with synchronicity. It doesn't delay. It prepares. And when everything aligns, the first sign emerges like a whisper. I did my part. The first sign can present itself in many ways. It could be unexpected money, an awaited answer, a sudden proposal, a shift in energy that completely envelops you. Sometimes it's something symbolic, a conversation, a vision, an intense feeling that something is about to happen. And indeed it is, because the universe always tests before delivering. It wants to see if you recognize the miracle even when it's still small. And if you celebrate the little things, the much comes quickly. The universe loves hearts that perceive the extraordinary in the simple things. It is in these awakened eyes that it deposits its greatest treasures. When the first sign appears, the air changes. You feel the energy of the new vibrating around you, as if the whole world were in motion. There is a mixture of gratitude and wonder, of peace and excitement. It is the recognition that you were right to keep believing. The universe has always fulfilled its promises. You just needed to hold on until you saw it. And this moment is not just the beginning of a blessing. It is the spiritual seal that the harvest time has begun. What was once invisible in the field of faith now begins to sprout in matter. And each new sign is a reminder. The reward is in progress. But here's a secret. The universe shows you the first sign not to satisfy you, but to confirm it. It wants you to feel secure, not euphoric. Because those who vibrate with too much euphoria disconnect from the serenity necessary to sustain the flow. The first sign is a confirmation that the path is right, not the final destination. It's the dawn before the full day. It's the announcement before the rain. Therefore celebrate, but remain centered. Gratitude opens doors. Haste closes them. The universe only releases the next step for those who know how to be grateful for the present. After that moment, everything intensifies. Opportunities begin to multiply. Ideas flow again, and the vibrational field harmonizes with abundance. You begin to feel that something within you has changed. It's not just luck, it's alignment. It's as if life has become a gently flowing river. Things that were once difficult become natural. Encounters happen effortlessly. Your energy is now magnetic, and the universe responds to each vibration with new proof that it is with you. It's the point where the impossible ceases to exist. So, when the first sign appears, don't hesitate. Acknowledge it, celebrate it, and say silently, "I receive it." These two words are powerful. They communicate to the universe that you accept the blessing, that you are ready for the complete flow. And the universe, hearing your acceptance, accelerates. It understands that the vessel is ready to contain what is to come. And what is to come, if you remain steadfast, will be greater than anything you have ever imagined. Because the first sign is only the seed, the harvest is about to begin. After the first sign appears, something inside you changes. Reality seems the same, but your perspective is no longer the same. What was once effort transforms into fluidity. What was once fear becomes confidence. This is the ninth sign. The universe raises you to a new frequency. It's not just about receiving a blessing, but about being transformed by it. It's the point where you start vibrating at a higher frequency, and everything that isn't aligned with this new energy begins to naturally fade away. People, situations, and even old thoughts cease to make sense. It's as if a new version of you emerges, lighter, more aware, more at peace. The vibrational elevation is the true reward of the process, because material reward is fleeting, but the expansion of consciousness remains. It's like shedding your skin. The old vibration, made of anxiety, fear, and scarcity, dissolves, and in its place arises a feeling of clarity and constant gratitude. The mind, once racing, quiets down. The heart, once restless, finds a home. The universe doesn't just give you something. It renews you. And it is in this renewal that true abundance begins to flourish. Because abundance is not what you have. It's what you are able to feel without depending on anything external. This new frequency is even perceptible in the body. You wake up with more energy, perceive beauty in small things, and feel a kind of joy that needs no reason. It's the glow of the soul in a state of harmony. The energy of the universe begins to flow through you lightly, and everything that vibrates below that frequency begins to naturally move away. There is no struggle, no cutting, only vibrational separation. People who no longer resonate simply distance themselves, and those who share this new light begin to draw closer. It's as if the universe is reorganizing your life around your new frequency. But this elevation also demands responsibility. Vibrating at a high frequency doesn't mean living detached from the world, but rather living consciously of each choice. The universe trusts more those who use energy wisely. Therefore, the higher you vibrate, the more quickly your intentions manifest, whether good or bad. That is the true power of the new frequency. It amplifies everything you emit. That's why the universe needs to be sure that you've already learned to carefully choose what you think, feel, and say. Because at this new level, words become decrees and emotions become tools for creation. I realized this when I started noticing how my reactions shaped the results. A simple thought of doubt seemed to hinder opportunities, while a thought of gratitude made them flourish. It was as if the universe responded in real time to my emotions, and it truly did. The new frequency doesn't allow for distractions. It's sensitive, immediate, precise. And that's when I understood. Manifesting isn't about asking. It's about maintaining coherence. The universe isn't convinced by promises. It aligns with vibrations. And my vibration, finally, had achieved stability. This elevation brings with it a kind of peace that the world cannot offer. It is a serenity that makes you an observer of life, not a victim of it. You stop reacting and begin to respond consciously. You begin to understand that everything is energy, including challenging situations. And when an obstacle arises, you no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" but rather, "What for?" This change in question is the hallmark of ascension. It is the sign that you have left the frequency of neediness and entered the vibration of creation. The universe then recognizes you as a partner in the work of life, and it is at this point that miracles become commonplace. Small blessings multiply, time seems to flow differently, and everything that once required effort now happens naturally. You realize you no longer need to chase after things. You just need to walk in the same direction as the flow. It's like dancing with the universe in perfect harmony. And the most beautiful thing is realizing that this elevation doesn't distance you from humanity, but brings you closer to it. Because when you vibrate higher, your presence heals, inspires, and awakens others. And that's what the universe most desires, that you become a reflection of the light that created you. When the universe senses that your faith has matured, it begins to surprise you. Suddenly, what once seemed unattainable draws closer, and the improbable becomes inevitable. This is the 10th sign. The universe begins to deliver the impossible to you. Life changes its rhythm. Doors that were always locked open with a gentle push, and situations that seemed hopeless resolve themselves as if an invisible hand had moved the pieces of destiny. The impossible is not a breaking of life's laws. It is the moment when your vibration aligns with the frequency where miracles dwell. And, at that stage, everything that is yours begins to find you, effortlessly, without struggle, without fear. The impossible happens when you stop looking through the eyes of scarcity and begin to see with the eyes of consciousness. It doesn't come from outside, it arises from within. When your energy changes, the universe reorganizes reality to accompany you. The money that seemed distant appears in an unexpected opportunity. The healing that seemed impossible manifests through an encounter. The person who seemed lost returns transformed. What was a dream begins to take shape, smell, and sound. And it is at this point that you realize the impossible is not the absence of possibility. It is merely something waiting for your faith to mature enough to become tangible. I clearly remember the day I experienced my first impossible. It was a project that everyone had told me wouldn't work. I persisted, but nothing happened. Until one day, exhausted from trying, I decided to stop forcing it. I literally surrendered. I told the universe, if it's meant to be mine, show me the way. If it's not, teach me why. And the following week, without any logical explanation, a person I had never met called me to talk, and within minutes, opened the door I had been trying to open for months. It was at that moment that I understood. The impossible happens when control ceases. It is the natural result of a trust that has transcended the mind and reached the spirit. The impossible is the gift the universe reserves for those who don't give up, even when nothing makes sense. It's proof that physical reality isn't sovereign, it's malleable. Matter is merely a reflection of consciousness, and those who learn to master their vibration no longer need to fight against time or circumstances. Because at that level, time works for you. Coincidences multiply, paths cross, and everything that was far away begins to approach in perfect synchronicity. The impossible is simply the delayed response of a universe that waited for your heart to stabilize. But there's something even deeper at this stage. The impossible isn't given to those who want to impress, but to those who wish to serve. The universe doesn't deliver miracles to feed the ego, but to expand collective consciousness. When one of us experiences the impossible, the whole world remembers that it is possible. Your miracle isn't just about you, it's a reminder to all who doubt, a spark of faith rekindling sleeping hearts. Therefore, when the impossible happens, don't boast. Just give thanks and share. Because every personal miracle is a universal message, and it is in this humble surrender that the cycle is completed. The more you recognize the impossible as natural, the more the universe uses you as a channel. It realizes it can trust you, and then life begins to place you in situations where your faith inspires, your story awakens, and your presence transforms. You become a beacon of possibilities. The impossible begins to happen not only to you, but through you. Blessings flow continuously, and the universe responds in a cascade, multiplying everything it touches. It is the moment when abundance ceases to be a desire and becomes your state of being. Therefore, when the impossible begins to manifest, don't be surprised. Just acknowledge that you have become compatible with it. This compatibility is the true miracle, because deep down, the impossible was never far away. It always waited for you to vibrate at the right frequency to see it. And now that it has arrived, celebrate with silent gratitude. Don't try to understand, just feel. Because the impossible is not irrational, it is divine. And when the divine manifests, the heart no longer needs proof. It simply knows. The impossible didn't come to prove anything to you. It came to remind you who you are. There comes a point in the journey where the reward ceases to be a personal gift and transforms into a purpose. After the universe delivers the impossible, it invites you to something greater, to be a channel of miracles. It's when the energy that once healed you begins to heal others through you. You realize you're no longer just a receiver, you're a transmitter. Everything you've learned, all the pain you've endured, and every victory you've experienced take on a new meaning. Because the universe never wastes suffering, it recycles it into wisdom. And those who have learned to trust become a bridge between heaven and earth, a silent messenger of hope for those still in darkness. The first thing that changes is the intention. Before, you asked to receive. Now, you vibrate to give. Your presence becomes light. Your words inspire. Your gaze comforts. Not because you try, but simply because you are. The universe, in its perfection, channels its own light through those who vibrate constant gratitude. You realize that you no longer speak for yourself, but for something greater that flows through you. Every gesture, every conversation, every encounter seems guided. And it is at this point that you understand the true purpose of rewards. The universe blesses you not to elevate you alone, but to use you as an instrument of collective elevation. When I started feeling this, I realized something curious. People began to seek me out, not for what I did, but for what I transmitted. They said they felt peace just by being near me, and I couldn't explain it. But I understood that the universe uses hearts that have learned to trust as invisible channels of healing. The energy that previously moved only in my favor now flowed to others, effortlessly, without control. And the more I shared, the more life gave back to me. The universe works in echo. The more you give, the more it amplifies your sound. Miracles are waves, and those who vibrate love become the ocean. Being a channel for miracles doesn't mean having supernatural power. It means being transparent enough for the divine to pass through you without resistance. The ego is dense, but the soul is translucent. And when the ego dissolves, the universe finds a way. You begin to live in tune with a rhythm greater than your own, as if each step were orchestrated by a music that only the awakened can hear. This is the melody of creation, the vibration of love in motion. The miracle doesn't happen through your strength, but through your surrender. Those who learn to flow become instruments of universal harmony. And the most beautiful thing is realizing that, by becoming a channel, you also continue to be blessed. The energy that passes through you leaves trails of light. Each person who touches your life becomes a reflection of what the universe is capable of doing through faith. It's an infinite cycle of blessings crossing hearts. You give and receive at the same time because, in truth, there is no separation between the one who gives and the one who is transformed. The universe is one body vibrating in different forms. And when one vibrates in love, all feel the impact. That's why miracles multiply. They follow the path of least resistance. And you have become exactly that, a free channel. This is the stage where abundance knows no bounds. Money comes, health is renewed, relationships harmonize, and life begins to flow like a calm, deep, and generous river. Because at this point, you have already understood the great truth. The universe doesn't reward you to make you powerful, but to make you conscious. The true reward is expanded consciousness, the remembrance that you and the whole are one. And when this consciousness awakens, you begin to manifest not to prove anything, but to honor everything. So, if you feel that something within you has changed, that love has grown, that faith has become lighter, that peace remains even in the storms, know that you are already a channel. The universe trusts you because it knows that your vibration is pure enough to transmit light. And from here on out, every gesture of yours is sacred. Every word is a seed. Every breath is a prayer. You have become the very miracle you once asked for. And when that happens, the universe not only rewards you, it multiplies you into others. After you become a channel for miracles, the universe activates something even more magnificent, the law of divine retribution. Everything that was given, taught, and transmitted returns multiplied, not as a reward, but as vibrational recognition. It's the point where the flow of giving and receiving balances, and you understand that the love you give is the same love that sustains you. Abundance ceases to be an isolated event and becomes a constant state. You no longer need to chase after good, because it already comes to you. Everything you emanated returns in waves of gratitude, prosperity, and peace. The universe responds precisely to your frequency. Every seed of kindness you planted in the past now begins to bloom twofold. This law cannot be manipulated, only lived. It does not obey haste, but purity. Because the universe does not reward words, it rewards intentions. And when your intention is sincere, your vibration becomes a prayer in motion. That is why people who live to help, heal, and inspire never lack anything. The universe does not allow emptiness in those who distribute light. It always gives back more, not out of obligation, but out of energetic coherence. Life is a mirror, and everything you offer is returned in multiplied form. Love returns as protection. Generosity returns as prosperity. Faith returns as miracles. I saw this happen clearly in my life. Things I had done years ago, small gestures, words of support, silent help, began to return in ways I never imagined. A friend I once helped, without expecting anything in return, introduced me to an opportunity that changed my destiny. A person I had comforted during a difficult time brought me an answer I needed. The universe archives everything, and time is merely the interval between the action and the harvest. Nothing is lost in the vibrational field. Every action returns, every love is reciprocated, every faith is rewarded. Goodness never arrives late. It simply waits for the heart to be ready to receive it in return. The law of divine return also teaches us the importance of selfless intention. Doing good expecting reward blocks the flow, but doing good out of love accelerates it. The universe senses the purity of each gesture and responds with proportional abundance. Therefore, those who give without expecting, receive without asking. The secret is not in doing a lot, but in doing it with soul. It is the vibration behind the action that creates the miracle. And when that vibration is true, the universe recognizes it. It moves, reconfigures paths, and returns everything you offered twofold. sometimes not in the form you expect, but in the form you need. The reward doesn't just come in the form of material possessions or opportunities, but in synchronicity, protection, and peace. The universe takes care of those who take care of others. It opens invisible doors, wards off silent dangers, and gently guides your steps. There are blessings you don't even realize you've received. Deliverances the universe never told you about, only performed. This is the divine way of saying thank you for your faithfulness to the light. It is the Creator's love rewarding you with security, stability, and harmony. The true reward is living in peace, even when the world is in chaos, because the universe envelops you with the same energy you once emanated. Over time, you realize you don't need to worry about being recognized or valued. The universe sees everything. It notes every invisible gesture, every silent prayer, every act of kindness the world ignored. Divine justice is exact, and when it arrives with force, precision, and tenderness. It's like rain after a long summer, refreshing, necessary, abundant. The universe doesn't forget those who do good, even when no one is watching. And when it decides to reward, it doesn't return what was taken. It multiplies what remains. It lifts you above losses and makes you prosper in what was once a desert. Therefore, when the reward begins to return, receive it with humility. Don't ask yourself why now, but rather, how can I multiply this? The law of return doesn't end with you. It passes through you. Everything that comes must continue to flow. Thus, the cycle never breaks. Because in the end, abundance isn't about having more. It's about being a channel. And when you become a channel of divine return, the universe finds rest in your vibration. Everything you give returns. Everything that returns expands, and everything that expands transforms you. The harvest is inevitable, and when it comes, it is doubled, generous, and fair. The moment arrives when everything that was promised begins to be fulfilled before your eyes. It is harvest time, when the universe reveals what it has been silently preparing during all the nights you cried, believed, and waited. This is the 13th sign. The promise is fulfilled. That time of uncertainty, silence, and renunciation was not punishment. It was cultivation. Each prayer, each gesture of faith, each small act of love transformed into a root. And now, the flowers of what you planted begin to sprout in the field of reality. It is the moment when the universe confirms, I heard every word you said, and what was once hope becomes evidence. The harvest doesn't come all at once. It comes as a sequence of interconnected miracles, small victories that transform into grand achievements. Money begins to flow, health is restored, relationships harmonize, the mind finds rest. You feel the universe breathing with you, in perfect synchronicity. Everything falls into place. What seemed like a mistake reveals itself as a success. What seemed like a delay shows itself as protection. The harvest is a reflection of your persistence. The universe doesn't reward those who give up, but those who persevere. It doesn't deliver to impress, but to confirm. Faith is the seed that never fails. I remember the day I realized the cycle had turned. It wasn't a grand event, just an ordinary morning. The sun was different, the air felt lighter, and inside me there was an inexplicable gratitude. The answers began to emerge naturally. What I had previously pursued began to seek me out. Doors that seemed locked opened one by one, and I understood. The universe doesn't forget. It matures. Everything arrives when the heart is ready to receive it without fear. And at that moment, I realized that the harvest wasn't just material. It was emotional, spiritual, vibrational. The true fruit of faith is the transformation of the soul. The universe doesn't just deliver what you asked for, it delivers what you've become worthy of receiving. And that's the beauty of the harvest. It's personalized. Each blessing arrives according to your level of maturity. That's why sometimes it seems like the reward takes time. But the universe doesn't just want to give you something. It wants what it gives you to last. And for that, it needs to refine you. The harvest is, in fact, the sum of all the times you chose to trust even without understanding. Each yes to faith built the path that now opens before you. Miracles don't fall from the sky. They spring from your perseverance. The feeling is indescribable. It's not euphoria, it's fulfillment. You understand that the universe has never failed you. Every loss, every detour, every silence, everything was part of the divine choreography that brought you here. The harvest is confirmation that nothing was in vain. The universe doesn't forget those who plant with their heart. It only waits for the soil of the soul to be fertile enough to sustain abundance. And when that day arrives, the whole world seems to conspire in your favor. The right people appear, paths are illuminated, ideas flourish. You no longer need to force it, just reap what is already yours by merit. But there's something even deeper in this moment. You understand that the harvest is not the end, it's a new beginning. The universe doesn't give you what you need to stop, but to expand. The purpose of the reward is to make you a multiplier of the light you received. Abundance is not static. It's a river that continues to flow through those who know how to share. The harvest is a reminder that faith is worthwhile, and that love always finds its way back. Everything you've experienced so far has only been training for what the universe will still do through you. Therefore, when the universe confirms the fulfillment of the promise, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Give thanks. Remember the nights you doubted, the tears you thought were useless, the prayers that seemed lost. They were the seeds of your present. And now, as the universe showers you with blessings, it whispers silently, "You trusted, and that is why you are reaping what you sow." The harvest is God's signature on the story of your faith. She is proof that no heart that believes ends up empty. After the harvest comes something even more powerful: inner awakening. That's when you understand that the universe never gave you things. It gave you awareness. This is the 14th sign. Abundance becomes a state of mind. It's no longer about how much you have, but about how much you vibrate. The heart, once needy, now overflows. The mind, once restless, rests in serenity. And faith, once anxious, becomes silent certainty. It's the point where you discover that the true miracle was never money, success, or healing, but the transformation that all of that brought about in you. Outward wealth is merely a reflection of inner peace. This change is subtle yet profound. You stop looking for signs and begin to be the sign yourself. You stop asking, when, and start living in the now. The rush dissolves, comparison loses its power, and gratitude takes over. The universe elevates you to a new state of perception, where time ceases to be waiting and becomes presence. You no longer desire the future. You attract it naturally, because you live it in advance within your heart. Abundance is not a destination, it is a frequency. And whoever vibrates within it realizes that they lack nothing, because everything they need is always in flow with them. I experienced this awakening on a simple afternoon. I was alone, without recent achievements, without any major news. But I felt something extraordinary. Peace. It was as if, finally, everything was in its place. Not outside, but inside. I understood that the universe didn't want me to have more. It wanted me to be more. That true manifestation is not what one receives, but what one awakens. And from that moment on, I realized that nothing external could give me what I had already found in silence: fullness. Abundance is not about filling your hands. It's about emptying your heart of fear. When fear leaves, the flow enters. The universe always works from the inside out. It first transforms the being, then transforms life. That's why so many become frustrated trying to manifest things without first manifesting consciousness. The mind asks, but the soul needs to be ready to sustain. Money without purpose is lost. Success without gratitude makes one ill. Love without truth suffocates. That's why the universe delays certain blessings, not to deny them, but to preserve them. And when your vibration finally stabilizes at the frequency of peace, everything that was once desire transforms into a natural extension of who you are. What was once a dream becomes a consequence. It is at this point that life changes its texture. What affected you no longer reaches you. What frightened you no longer moves you. And what you lacked no longer defines you. You become an observer of your own story, realizing that every detail, including the falls, was part of the sculpture of your awakening. Pain humanized you, waiting refined you, and love liberated you. Now everything that arrives is welcome, and everything that leaves is blessed, because those who live in the frequency of abundance don't lose. They simply flow. Inner transformation is the true reward, living in peace, regardless of the outcome. This peace even changes how you relate to the universe. Before, you prayed asking. Now you pray giving thanks. Before, you asked why. Now you simply say, thank you. Faith ceases to be effort and becomes communion. The connection is so profound that the universe and you are no longer two. They are the same field vibrating in harmony. Duality disappears. You understand that everything you have experienced was a loving dialogue between the Creator and creation, and that each lesson, each loss, each victory was the universe guiding you back home, the place where abundance has always been, within. Therefore, if today you feel peace for no reason, know this: it is the ultimate sign of manifestation. It is the end of fear and the beginning of freedom. You no longer need to prove anything, seek anything, run for anything, because the universe doesn't want to see you tired. It wants to see you conscious. Abundance is the state of those who have understood that the divine is not far away. It is within. And when the heart rests in this understanding, everything around flourishes. Inner transformation is the miracle that sustains all others. When the soul awakens and understands the true meaning of abundance, the universe reveals its next purpose: to transform what you've learned into a mission. This is the 15th sign, the call to serve. The journey ceases to be about what you have received and becomes about what you can offer. You understand that you were healed to heal, enlightened to enlighten, blessed to bless. Everything you have experienced up to this point, the mistakes, the losses, the miracles, was training for this moment. Now, the universe sends you as a messenger of light, someone capable of awakening in others the same faith that once sustained you in the desert. The mission doesn't arrive with fanfare. It arrives like a whisper. Suddenly you feel a new desire, the desire to share. Words flow with truth. Your heart beats differently. What was once just your story becomes a bridge for others to cross. People begin to approach, seeking something they may not even know how to name: presence. They feel your energy even before hearing your voice. And that's when the universe smiles, because it recognizes in you the reflection of its own creation. When your healing becomes a voice, your existence gains purpose. Serving ceases to be an obligation and becomes a joy. I remember the moment I realized my story was no longer just mine. People started writing to me, saying my words had rekindled a forgotten hope within them. Some told me they had started praying again, others that they had forgiven someone after hearing something I shared. I cried reading those messages because I understood. The universe healed me not only to save me, but to use me as a witness. That's the mission: to be living proof that light wins, that faith transforms, that love rebuilds. And when I realized that, my life gained a new dimension. I no longer spoke for myself. I spoke for everyone who was still trying to believe. The universe doesn't call the perfect. It calls the willing. It doesn't seek heroes. It seeks sincere hearts. The mission doesn't require diplomas. It requires dedication. Because spiritual service isn't about power. It's about presence. And when you say yes to the calling, the universe guides you every step of the way. Opportunities appear, the right words arrive, paths open. There is no improvisation in divine synchronicity. Everything you have experienced, including what you considered irrelevant, will be used. The universe recycles your pain into medicine, your fall into a lesson, your victory into inspiration. The mission is the echo of the love that once found you, and now wants to reach others through you. When you begin to serve, something extraordinary happens. Your energy multiplies. Abundance stops flowing in a straight line and begins to circulate. Everything you offer returns amplified, because the universe rewards those who keep the flow active. The mission transforms you into a constant conductor of light, and this light never tires. It renews itself with every gesture. Helping ceases to be a burden and becomes a source. Love, once a feeling, becomes practice. You understand that you are not in the world to stand out, but to illuminate. And the more you illuminate, the more the universe amplifies your brilliance. But the mission also brings humility. To serve is to understand that it's not about you, it's through you. That true power lies in becoming a channel, not the center. And this protects you from pride, because it keeps you connected to the source that sends you. Every time someone is transformed by something they shared, the universe doesn't exalt you. It reminds you that there is still more to do. And you continue, not out of vanity, but out of gratitude, because it has realized that service is the purest form of worship. The mission is not a job. It's a permanent state of love. And it is at this stage that the circle closes. Everything you once asked for has become something you now give. Everything you sought has transformed into what you offer. And then, the universe confirms. The journey has been completed. You have not only manifested abundance, you have become abundance. Your presence inspires, your faith is contagious, and your life becomes a testament to the fact that it is possible to live guided by the light. And when this happens, the universe bestows upon you the greatest gift of all, the privilege of continuing to serve. There comes a moment when the mission expands beyond one's own existence. The universe, which taught you to trust, now teaches you to eternalize. This is the 16th sign, the birth of a legacy. You begin to realize that your actions, words, and energy transcend the limits of time. What you once planted in faith begins to blossom in hearts you may never know. It's the point where your life ceases to be just about you and becomes about the impact you will leave on the world. The universe uses your vibration as a seed that germinates in the soil of future generations, proving that love is the only force capable of traversing centuries without fading away. Legacy is born when purpose finds permanence, when the good you did continues to bear fruit even after you're gone. It's an energy that doesn't die, it only changes form. Every word you spoke with love, every gesture of faith, every smile amidst pain becomes part of a luminous network that the universe keeps active. Your story transforms into a silent manual for others to walk with more hope. Legacy isn't what the world remembers of you. It's what the universe continues to vibrate through your memory. And when your vibration is pure, the universe replicates it infinitely. I realized this when I started seeing people sharing phrases I didn't even remember saying. Simple words, spoken in moments of pain, became fuel of faith for others. It was as if my energy had gained a life of its own, traveling beyond me. And that's when I understood. The universe records the highest frequencies and preserves them. Everything born of love is eternal. Time may erase names, but it doesn't erase vibrations. They continue to resonate, crossing borders and healing those who need to hear them, even when you are no longer around. That is the power of legacy, to remain present in absence. Legacy is also a reminder of responsibility. It makes us realize that everything we do leaves traces in the collective energy field. A word can heal or hurt. A gesture can open or close paths. The universe is sensitive to every choice. Therefore, when you awaken, you understand that you don't live only for yourself. You live as part of a network, and each of your vibrations influences the whole. When love guides your steps, the universe finds more harmony. When light is your answer to hatred, balance is restored. Legacy is, above all, the energetic impact of those who have decided to be instruments of peace. And the most beautiful thing is that a legacy doesn't need to be grand in human eyes. It can be born in a hug, in a word of comfort, in a silent prayer. It can be in the way you treat someone, in the kindness shown to a stranger, in the way you choose forgiveness instead of revenge. Because the universe doesn't measure the greatness of an act by its size, but by its vibration. And true love, even if whispered, has an infinite echo. A legacy isn't created to be remembered. It's created to continue. And everything that continues in love, the universe eternalizes. When you understand this, life takes on a different meaning. Haste transforms into patience, and the fear of death becomes a desire to live life to the fullest. You realize that the body is temporary, but the spirit is expansive, that the things we possess disappear, but those we emanate remain. And it is in this understanding that the soul is freed from the illusion of finitude, because those who live with purpose do not fear the end. They celebrate the cycle. The legacy is the trail of light that proves you existed, loved, and left the universe better than you found it. And finally, when you look back and realize the path you've traveled, from scarcity to abundance, from fear to faith, from the self to the whole, you understand that the greatest miracle wasn't what you received, but what you became. The universe didn't want to give you riches, it wanted to make you rich. It didn't teach you to accumulate, but to radiate. And now, realizing that your light continues even after you, your soul rests in peace, because the cycle is complete when the love you received continues to circulate. Legacy is the eternity of love manifested in time. There comes a point when there is nothing left to ask for, only to give thanks. The universe, which once seemed distant, now dwells within you. This is the 17th and final sign, divine consecration. Peace that depends on nothing. It's the moment when the cycle is complete and you feel that everything you've lived through, the silence, the pain, the trials, the blessings, was part of the same symphony. The universe didn't reward you with things, it rewarded you with understanding. You discover that true victory is internal. The heart finally rests, the mind quiets, the soul remembers who it is, and everything around seems to sing the same refrain. You have become one with the whole. This peace is unlike any other. It's not the absence of challenges, it's mastery over them. It's not escaping the world, it's communion with it. It's the certainty that nothing can take you away from your center, because now the center is within you. Faith is no longer an effort, it's your natural state. Abundance is no longer a goal, it's your atmosphere. The universe is no longer an external force, it's your own reflection in motion. You realize that everything is interconnected. Every person, every gesture, every star. And in this recognition, the soul bows in silent reverence, knowing that eternity was never something to be achieved, but something that has always been present. I remember the day I first felt that peace. There was nothing special around me. No extraordinary signs, no recent achievements. Just me, sitting in silence, feeling that everything was exactly as it should be. No anxiety, no lack, no fear. Just a profound sense of, I am. And in that instant, I realized, this is what the universe had been trying to teach me from the beginning. The entire journey, from pain to victory, was a path back to this state. Eternal peace is not the end of the road. It is the starting point for those who awaken. It is the spiritual home where everything begins again in fullness. Divine consecration is the universe's gift to those who have learned to trust even in the dark. It is the harvest of those who did not give up, even without proof. It is the rest of those who understood that control was never necessary. The universe crowns you with serenity, and this serenity becomes your greatest protection. The storms may continue outside, but none of them can reach you anymore, because faith has created a shelter within you. And within this shelter, time does not weigh you down. Pain does not wound. Fear does not govern. Only love reigns. The love that created you, guided you, and now envelops you in silent light. Eternal peace is also the recognition of your completeness. You need nothing more to feel whole, because you realize you already are. This realization is the pinnacle of the journey. Everything you sought outside now reveals itself within. And when this awareness awakens, the entire universe seems to celebrate with you. Synchronicities continue, blessings keep flowing, but now you are not attached to them. They are merely reflections of a harmony that has stabilized in your soul. The true reward of the universe is this: freedom. Freedom to be who you are, without fear, without urgency, without scarcity. Just to be. And when that peace settles in, you understand the meaning of eternity, not as something distant, but as a continuous presence. Time ceases to be a line and becomes a circle. The beginning and the end touch. Your story, which began with a search, ends with a reunion. The universe didn't take you far away. It brought you back to the center of everything. And there, in silence, it whispers what it always wanted to tell you. I was never outside. I was always you. At that moment, the reward cycle ends, and the cycle of consciousness begins, and everything within you vibrates in unison with creation, gratitude, love, and light. So, when that peace arrives, guard it, honor it, and spread it, because it is proof that the universe fulfills its promises. Everything you ever asked for already exists. Everything you sought already is. And now that you understand this, nothing can separate you from the abundance that dwells within your own being. Your journey is over, but the mission continues. Because whoever achieves peace becomes the path for others to find it too. Divine consecration is the end point of the quest and the first step towards eternity. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Feel the energy of the universe enveloping you right now, at this very moment. There is no distance between what you desire and what you are. There is only recognition. Everything he experienced was preparation. All that was lost was freedom. All he received was confirmation. And now, the universe crowns you with the greatest of all blessings, the peace that nothing can take away. You are no longer searching for miracles. You have become one. Your vibration is prayer in motion. Your presence is a seed of hope. And your story is living proof that the impossible is merely a disguise for the inevitable. The universe has fulfilled its promise, and now delivers to you what you always wanted: awareness. Gratitude is not a gesture. It's your new language. And love, your new home. Write in the comments, I trust in the divine timing of the universe. Share this video with someone who is about to give up. Maybe you are the sign the universe wants to use today. If this message touched your heart, subscribe and keep your vibration connected. The next video will be 7 moments when the universe tests your faith before the reward.